Hey, Steve here with Dabble Lab, and in this video I'm going to walk through creating a custom Amazon Alexa skill. And mostly I'm just going to focus on quickly creating the skill and showing you how to publish it to Lambda, AWS Lambda, and just get it out there and up and running. The last video that I did, I walked through creating a skill from one of the templates that Amazon provides, but this one will be from scratch. So we'll get going. My goal here is to hopefully finish this in under 15 minutes, preferably closer to 10 minutes. So I'm going to move pretty quick, and I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail, but just kind of focus on the main pieces, and hopefully that is helpful for you. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go set up the skill in the developer console, and this is at developer.amazon.com. If you don't have an account there, you can go there and sign up. And once you have, you go to the Alexa tab and then to the Alexa skills kit here. That's what we're going to be using for this demo. And then add a new skill. And we're going to give the skill a name. In this case, we're going to call it demo skill. And the invocation name is also demo skill. In our case, the invocation name is the name that we're going to use to wake the skill up when we're talking to Alexa. So Alexa, open demo skill, and we'll save that and move next. And like I said, I'm not going to go in the details, but I will in another video. So recently there's the Echo or Alexa team added this skill builder, which is pretty cool. It's pretty simple to use too. This is for creating an interaction model, which is really just a JSON document, so you can create this by hand, but this makes it a little bit easier. Not going to spend a lot of time on this in this video either, but I will in another video. So I'm going to just call this my hello intent. And the utterance is what the user is going to say to fire that intent or to invoke that intent. And in this case, it's just going to be hello. So easy enough. I'm going to save that and build that model. And while that's building, I'm going to go over to my AWS. So this is aws.amazon.com. If you don't have an AWS account, you can sign up there. It does prompt you for a credit card, but nothing that we're doing here is going to incur any fees. There's a free tier that more than covers all of this and then some. So once you've created your AWS account or logged in with an existing account, you can go to services, and then under compute, you want to find Lambda, which is what we're going to be using for the back end to this skill. And then from there, you just go create a skill, or create a function rather, excuse me. We're going to be using Node.js, so Node.js 6.10. And in the last video, I talked about the templates that are provided by Amazon for creating skills. And it's a super simple way to get started. I mean, you literally just select one of those templates and have a skill published in like a couple of minutes. But for this one, we're going to create a custom skill. So I'm going to just select the blank template, and then I'm going to configure the skill so that it's fired from the Alexa skills kit. So that is this trigger here. So you just click to select the skills kit as the trigger. So we've done that, and then we go next, and we give the skill a name. Or I keep saying skill, it's the Lambda function. It's back end of the skill though. But I'll say demo skill. And we can leave everything else the way that it is. This code doesn't matter right now because we're just going to overwrite that anyway, so you can ignore that. The only thing that you do have to do here is either set up or select a role for to give the function permission to run. And if you, I'm going to use one that I've set up previously called the Lambda basic execution, which is actually the default name. So if you are just setting up an AWS account, or you haven't created a Lambda function before, you can choose create a custom role, and then it'll just like step you through setting up a role. It's simple, and it'll use this as the default name also. So then you choose next, and this stuff is just a summary, so we don't need to do anything with that. And we choose create function. So now we have our backend Lambda function and the front end Alexa skills kit set up. Now we just need to link them. And to do that, we are going to copy and paste this ARN, which is the Amazon resource name, into configure the skill back here at the developer console. So if we go back in here, our model is now built. If you go into code editor, you can see the interaction model there. It's just the JSON, like I'd mentioned earlier. And then we go to configure the configuration here. And so this is where we set up our backend, which is going to respond to the skills kit requests or the skills, the voice service requests. And we're going to use the lambda ARN, like I mentioned. So you select that, and I'm in North America, so I select North America, and then I paste in that ARN from the lambda function that we just created. And all this other stuff, you can leave the defaults for today, and we'll come back. And at this point, come back and talk about that later. At this point, I'm all set. The skill is wired up to the back end, although it's just using that default code, so it won't work. But if I go open demo skill, it'll try. So it calls the lambda function, but it gets an error. So if we went back over here and looked at our monitoring, we can see that it had a request, but it also had an error, and that's because it didn't know how to respond. And so we're going to go write the code that lets it respond, and we're doing that in Node. So I'm going to pop out to my code editor, which in my case is Atom, but you could use any text editor, really doesn't matter. And I'm going to use Node, so I need to do a couple of things. First, I'm gonna make a directory called demo skill, and I'm going to initialize that with Node Package Manager and call it demo skill, and I'll leave all this stuff alone. It all looks good. And now I just need to get the Alexa SDK, and I can get that with npm also. So npm, and I'll save it, and it's Alexa SDK. So that's it. And so now it's pulling in the package dependency, the SDK package. And so now if I go over here, I should see all that stuff in there, and I do. And so now we just need to add our JavaScript file. And this is what is actually going to fire. This is the lambda function. And so I'm going to use some just really simple boilerplate code, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to just copy and paste some code that I did before. So in another video, I'll go over what's going on here in detail. But for right now, real quickly, when we open the skill, it's going to respond with welcome to demo one, or I'll say welcome to demo skill. And that will tell us our code is out there and everything's working. And I'll come back and we can wire up the other stuff in a future video. So okay, so that's all I need for that. Now I need to publish it, and I've got a couple of options here. One thing you can do is you can just zip this stuff up and publish it. So you can go like this, and then create an archive and just use that to publish out to the lambda to AWS. But I've written a script that automates this and makes it a little bit quicker, so I'm going to use that. And so over here, the script that I wrote is just a bash script, and I'll provide a link to it. So if you want to use it, you can download it. And this also depends on the AWS CLI, which I'll also provide a link to. It's the command line interface for the AWS service, and it will let us publish or update the lambda function that we created from the web interface. And so, okay, so here I'm going to go over here. Let's see where I am. Okay. And I probably don't have execution permissions on that file, so I'll add them here. And now I should be able to just run that bash script to push the code out to the lambda service. So if you see in the code here, it takes one command line argument, and the argument is going to be the name of the lambda function, and also needs to be the name. The lambda function needs to be named the same, or this folder needs to be named the same as the lambda function, that directory. So demo skill. And then you can see the code here. It zips up everything in the demo skill folder, and then it moves it out or publishes it and pushes it to the lambda service using the AWS CLI. And then I just move the zip file that was created into a folder called build, so I've got a copy of the code in case something goes wrong. I can go back and recover earlier versions. So kind of homegrown generic version management. Okay, so now if this all went the way that it should, then I should be able to run this test again and get a valid response. So let's see. I did. So here we go. So this time when I tested with the open demo skill utterance through the test simulator here, I got a response from my lambda function. And that was the response that we saw in the index.js file. And so now I can actually test it with my Echo and see if it works. So Alexa, open demo skill.
Welcome to demo skill. Try saying hello.
Well, we haven't wired up hello, but hello.
Say hello.
Okay. So it's working. We need to wire up the rest of it, but that's going to do it for this demo. In a future demo, I'll work off of this one and add some more functionality to it. So hopefully that is valuable to you, but if you have any questions or comments, please leave those and I'll respond to them as quick as I can. Thanks so much.